Hi, little guy. Grandma Suzanne again here. Time to read more books. Well, I wasn't planning on doing it quite this early. I've been up for more than an hour because there was an activity in my bathtub. There's a little chipmunk that I think it's the one that was brought in here last week. And I think it was under the stove for a while, and then I'm not sure where, or it may have been one that they brought in yesterday. But when I came inside the house, I saw this little animal running up the wood steps from the kitchen to the main level. And that's a pretty big distance for a little guy. I left the door open the whole rest of the day and into the evening, hoping it would go all the way outside, but I think it was hiding. But because my four guys were confined inside last night, I guess they found it, and so early this morning it was in the bathtub. And this was the most active one I've ever seen. It would have gotten out of the bathtub because it would, with Maisie in there, it was flying up the sides all the way. So I quickly got her out and turned the light out so it would get not fully dark, but a little darker. And then I tried with the strainer, but I mean, this was active. With the light out, it was a little easier. But this animal had so much strength, it was like lifting up the strainer as I was taking it outside. But I did get it outside, and it flew like it. So I hope it's gonna stay safe because it ran off out of my yard. So hopefully it'll stay safe. But between that and all the chickens and the chicks and then the fox once already, it's been a lot of animal activity. So I'm enjoying sitting down and reading a book. The first one in the stack, alas, is Gardens. It's our garden. And this is From Seeds to Harvest in a School Garden. So these are pictures, not paintings, but pictures of a bunch of kids at a school that have a garden. And that's a pretty big bunch of kids from the picture. Here's a picture of a little boy watering the garden. Well, the author has a bit of an introduction. Let's see if it's worth reading. When I heard of schools having gardens, I became curious. So I went to visit some schools in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I live. When I got to the, oh boy, I won't know how to pronounce this, Acaquia Madre Elementary School, I stopped looking. Under the guidance of teachers, volunteers, and parents, children from kindergarten to sixth grade spend part of their day working in the garden behind the school building. The school is named for the 400-year-old irrigation ditch across the street. In Spanish, Acaquia means irrigation ditch, and madre means mother. The school is small. Entering the school seemed like entering a home. Outside, behind the school, the shouts from the playground drifted over the quiet children doing chores in the garden. I spent the better part of a year watching and photographing them as they worked side by side with their teachers, parents, and friends. I wonder if that is the irrigation ditch that they're talking about. Acaquia Madre. The school bell sounds and the classrooms explode with the noise of books closing, chairs sliding on the floor, and kids chattering. It's time for recess. The students head outside to the school's garden. Now this garden will look different than ours because it's in the desert, or at least a more desert area. Beautiful. Mrs. McCarthy, the third grade teacher, dreamed of having a school garden. She talked to the other teachers, the principal, and the parents, and they all worked together to make her dream come true. The garden is cared cared for by Miss Sue. Miss Sue's husband, Will, designed the layout of the gardens. College students Paul, Danielle, Autumn, and Allie volunteered to guide the children in the garden projects. So there's a lot of people involved in this garden, as you can imagine there would be. As you know there is from what we have back here, how much work it takes. Students enter the garden through an arbor. It's spring and there are a lot of chores to be done. Depending on the weather, some classes are held in the open classroom, the garden, or the greenhouse. In early spring, Miss Sue asked the students to make a book with pictures they cut out from seed catalogs. These are the flowers, fruits, and vegetables that the students would like to grow. Later, she and the students will decide where to plant them. They're inside the greenhouse while they do this. I've never had a greenhouse, but I make something like that effect by covering my fall and winter crops with plastic, the same plastic sheeting they have on that greenhouse. Every day, one student is asked to take a bucket of food scraps from lunches and snacks and dump it into the compost pile. The compost is made up of soil, dead plants, and food scraps. Inside the pile, red wiggler worms are busy eating and turning these ingredients into castings, which the students call poop. Compost is mixed into the garden beds to provide food for the seedlings. That's kind of cool that they save their food waste, and one student every day gets to take it outside. That's a lot better and a lot different than what some schools have, which is just a few tomato or bean seedlings. This is getting down into the soil. Did I show both sides? I don't think I showed the other one. Springtime is planting time. These are a few of the seeds that will be planted in the garden. I'll show you the picture in a moment, but there's sunflower seeds, pinto beans, cucumber seeds, and seed potatoes. Seed potatoes are small potatoes that will sprout. For my potatoes, I plant sprouted portions of big or eyes on big potatoes. When it's still cold outside, some seeds are planted in the greenhouse. There, students fill small plastic pots with rich soil and plant a seed in each. The pots are left in the greenhouse where the sun warms them. Soon, tiny seedlings begin to pop out of the soil. When they are bigger and the weather is warmer, the plants will be transplanted into the garden beds outside. So here they're starting with the little seeds in the little pots, and here you see them a little bit bigger. And this is a drawing of what it's like above ground and below ground. That reminds me that I need to plant cucumber and pumpkin and the bigger seeds today in pots. And that way, when the garden's ready for it, I can take it right outside and put it in. More squawking. I guess the fox is back. He caught something small. Let me go